Mountain News first at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. Thanks for joining us on HNI today. First at 4, the Clay County Sheriff's Office is continuing its investigation into a murder. WYMT's Dakota Makris met with the sheriff today, who is calling this a senseless killing.
Clay County Sheriff Patrick Robinson tells me Clay County 911 received a call from a woman inside of a house on Arnold's Fork Road around noon on Tuesday. He says once deputies got there, they arrested 68-year-old Elsie Wagers. The sheriff says Wagers stabbed 33-year-old Pangie Smallwood several times, adding the pair got into a fight inside of a car on Hoskins Road, ending at Wagers' home on Arnold's Fork Road, where he says Wagers later stabbed Smallwood again, killing her.
The suspect is in custody. He gave a full confession also, and we are still following leads, finding more witnesses to take statements off of.
I reached out to Pangie's family. Her sister, Jennifer Smallwood, tells me her family is still in shock and Pangie was loved beyond words. In Clay County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
The sheriff tells us Pangie's body was taken to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy. We are learning new details about a Madison County murder suspect now accused of assaulting a jailer. Shannon Gilday is currently facing charges for 3 separate incidents: the murder of Jordan Morgan, a burglary at the Kenton County Clerk's office, and the assault of a jailer while he was in custody. Lieutenant Stephen Howard with the Madison County Detention Center testified in court this morning, saying Deputy Austin Ramsey was serving Gilday breakfast on April 16th. He says Gilday later confronted the deputy outside of his cell and attacked him. Gilday's attorneys are pointing to mental illness as the cause for this assault and the Morgan murder. The case is now going to a grand jury. The search for a shooting suspect comes to an end in an eastern Kentucky county. Police say 21-year-old Aaron Couch shot a man inside a car at a Powell County apartment complex and then took off. That happened close to 3 o'clock this morning. He was found and arrested after a chase later this morning. WYMT's Phil Pendleton was there as Couch was taken to jail.
Aaron Couch is now in the Powell County Detention Center. He was initially charged with first-degree assault after a shooting that left a man with very critical injuries.
Come on, Worm.
Aaron Couch was carried out of the Stanton Police Department by 3 officers after he was arrested Wednesday morning. Police say Couch shot a man at the Pine Creek Apartments. A woman living there said the motive could have been over a disagreement involving her car. The victim was taken to the hospital with what police say were critical injuries. The woman asked not to be identified but says she wanted her car back and that a friend was driving and that Couch and his girlfriend were also in. She went inside her apartment briefly and upon coming back out realized her friend had been shot.
And I got in the car and tried to shake him and wake him up. And I didn't realize what had happened. And I said his name and he wouldn't answer me. I realized his breathing was off.
Aaron Couch does have a criminal history. We did some checking and we discovered that he's faced a variety of different charges, even served time in jail because of it. Various charges of criminal trespassing, menacing. His most serious was attempted robbery. In Powell County, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Both Powell Middle and High Schools had an NTI day for students today while Couch was still on the run.
Not too bad of an afternoon around the region today. We've seen some areas, plenty of sunshine. That's helped warm us to near 70. In fact, some spots upper 70s. Others have been socked in with the cloud cover. Look at this beautiful shot from UVA Wise. Just fair weather clouds out there. Otherwise, blue skies sitting right at 70. The green foliage looks beautiful out there this afternoon. London Corbin Airport, a few more clouds working through that particular part of the region. Mid-60s right now. Throwing the temperatures on the screen around the region, you see we're warmer the further south that you go. It's 70 in Hazard and Wise, 73 Clintwood and Harlan, and 77 right now in Middlesboro. But further off to the north, it's a little cooler. Moorhead's at 63 and Irvin at just 62 right now. Let's go to Pinpoint Doppler. It's a clean sweep around the region, which is good news after the stormy weather we had yesterday. But we zoom out and you see that cloud line over the northwestern half of the area. We're okay right now. Last night's front sparking off showers and storms across portions of the Carolinas and Virginia, and more wet weather on the way into the Show Me State, and that's headed in our direction as we head over the next 48 hours or so. As we head out there for tonight, though, keep that WYMT weather app handy. You'll need it, not necessarily tonight, but as we head toward tomorrow night, that's when things change. We're in the 60s tonight, waking up in the 50s by the morning hours. I'll have the latest, though, on when showers and storms return to the picture coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
All right, Evan, thank you. Federal, state, and local law enforcement and health officials gathered in Cincinnati today to announce a significant law enforcement operation regarding the opioid epidemic in Appalachia. It involves the Appalachian Regional Prescription Opioid Strike Force, also known as ARPO, an operation that aims to target medical professionals who have profited from the opioid industry and abused their roles. Officials say since the proposal of ARPO 3 years ago, they have charged more than 100 people.
These medical professionals, let me make clear, are operating no different than any drug dealer. They are simply donning white coats while they are prescribing dangerous levels of opioids.
Those with ARPO say this is not a one-and-done operation. They will continue to combat the opioid epidemic in our region and help provide resources to those who need them. We'll have more on this later tonight. The political fallout is growing over the leak of a Supreme Court majority draft opinion from February suggesting Roe v. Wade should be overturned. On Capitol Hill, Democratic lawmakers are vowing to hold a vote on legislation to make Roe v. Wade federal law. But with the filibuster and a 50-50 Senate, there's little to no chance of passage because Democrats need at least 60 votes. Regardless of the result, it could lead to a very charged atmosphere in November.
Every single American is going to see where every single senator stands.
Democratic governors are vowing to protect or expand abortion rights, but more than 20 states, including Kentucky, have laws that would immediately restrict abortions should the nearly 50-year-old precedent be struck down. Another preview of what we could expect from November's midterm elections as Republican voters in Ohio chose author J.D. Vance, the candidate endorsed by former President Trump in a closely watched Senate primary. Many are saying it shows the former president still has significant sway within the Republican Party, but experts warn every race has its own dynamic and there are no guarantees in politics. That perceived power will continue to be tested in the coming weeks as more voters send a message at the ballot box. Kentucky's primary election is now less than 2 weeks away on May 17th. Several people who went to the White House Correspondents' Dinner have tested positive for COVID-19. Reporters and staffers from several news outlets have fallen ill. Politico reports ABC's John Karl has the virus. He shook hands with President Biden and sat next to Kim Kardashian, though it was unlikely Karl was infectious at the time. The White House Correspondents Association says it had implemented protocols beyond local and federal guidance. The owner of TurboTax has agreed to pay customers $141 million in restitution. Filers who use TurboTax's free edition for tax years 2016 through 2018 will get about $30 for each year they were charged when they should have been able to use free services. New York Attorney General Letitia James announced the settlement today, estimating about 4.4 million customers were unfairly charged, saying TurboTax made free services difficult to find and allegedly directed them to the paid version instead. James said the tactic targeted low-income customers. Intuit IT admitted no wrongdoing in the settlement deal. Let's head over to Wall Street now. This Wednesday, the Dow closes up today more than 932 points. We'll have more financial news in our next half hour. But straight ahead here on First at 4, new studies show that personal experiences are playing a big role in how bad people think the pandemic is right now.
And it's been mostly quiet today, but more changes on the way as we head into the weekend. The very latest is on the way next.
If you or someone you love has developed Parkinson's disease after being exposed to Gramoxone or any herbicide